Zoheb's untitled poem. They seize and break our swords, and bid us wield sickles. They seize the sickles, and bid us starve in the fields. In this field, my body is light enough for a vulture to carry. In this field, my skin draws tight across my belly. In this field, deep shadows are drawn on my chest. I behold now new swords, carving over my heart.
Uduasha City, where the sun is a mirror and the moon a shadow, where dancers cavort in forbidden operas, making love to forgetting and flaying, where the wealthy play at war with silver swords and silken sashes, where the people mine the dead heart of a burning star for cannonballs and pipework, and where 1,000 secrets hide in a forest of paper and ink. Here, the 5 keybearers reside, the 5 who know the secrets of the broken gates of death. 5 only. There is no 6th spire, forlorn and forgotten in the desert. There is no one who looks to the displaced, the poor and destitute and landless, whose ancestry has been stripped from them by foreign looms and foreign sparkcraft, and no one has ever heard of the House of Ending. But this is their story. Their roots pulled up and burned, they stand in filth up to their necks, and that is precisely why they must keep their heads ever high. Welcome to Uduasha, immigrant. May it fear the name of the house you will build. Welcome to Desperate Attune, an actual play podcast about characters with their identities in peril, played by an international cast devoted to fiction-first gaming, collaborative world-building, and complex character drama. Welcome to Desperate Attune. I'm Prince, coming at you from sunny Uduasha, where the sun is a mirror, and etc. You've just heard the intro. With me, for this dazzling score, today we're hitting a bank. With me are, as usual, Klow.
Assalamu alaikum, Prince.
Hello. Salty.
That's not how you respond to Assalamu alaikum.
I know that. I'm trying to keep this quick, okay? I'm trying to keep things rolling.
I've been burnt to a crisp by the Udu. Help me, please. God. It's
Yes.
so hot.
Thank you, Salty. Also, Sree.
Hello, it's me, Tree, and as you know, the rich plot to buy the horizon. It is why we must stop them.
Yes, and excellent. Thank you. And also Aadiyat. Hi.
Yes, hi.
Yeah, yes, hi. And yeah, we are reaching the end game. The Kethrisi revolution has begun, and the crew, the Rising Moon Sword School, have planned to kick over the Majesty Bank. And there are many reasons for this. Not just the acquisition of coin, as is the common thing for Blades in the Dark scoundrels, but also causing chaos in Uduasha's financial systems, and also, somewhat crucially, the Majesty Bank is also the bank which has most of the Kethrisi landowners indebted and claiming back their land and territory. So it is actually one of the economic levers by which Uduasha currently controls Kethris. So there are many reasons to go for this bank. And last time, briefly, we held a wake for Saida, who tragically passed away, or I don't know, kind of happily passed away on her own terms, actually. But
In fact, transcended into a maths dimension. That's what happened.
yeah. But anywho, Saida has been replaced by one of the names of the Prince of Endings. Saida has succeeded in their quest to invoke this deity. And now, as the Tower of Stars has transformed into a tree that hangs over the Well of the Udu, that happened a couple of sessions ago, the crew held a wake for her, during which the introduction of Sree and Kethris, this strange aspect of the prince, was introduced to the inner circle. And we have also seen the crew basically get their friends and some old enemies on board with this plan of causing chaos by taking down the bank, which included Bidrohi getting all of the cohorts on board, Bald Murad and so on, but also the crew of Rip on the Ripper, etc.
My guys.
The finger guns guys, yes.
Mm.
We have also gotten Omid on board. We have also spread the word throughout the Kethrisi community. And also, something of note that happened is that Mushfik and Clem are, well, we don't know the exact details of the relationship, but they are in a relationship now officially. And also, they have fended off Tamira for now, who may or may not interfere in the crew's affairs, though. And last, but very much not least, there is the hand of Munna behind the scenes, who has given the crew some of the things they might need to infiltrate the bank, although whether or not the crew chooses that angle remains to be seen, because Munna may be able to predict the actions of scoundrels and criminals, but it is a well-known fact that the GM can never predict what the hell the players do. So
Correct.
here we are.
So is Munna your GM insert PC who's always like, I knew you'd do that.
Yes. I guess he is now. Tree wrote this character, and that seems to me to be how he is intended to be played. So
Correct. But it is also exactly why people who play with GMPCs are very deserved in trying to murder the GMPC.
yes, yes, indeed. And I think that's roughly where we are. We had set ourselves up. We had done this wake. We had done talking to people. You have pretty much gotten people ready. But yeah, this hit on the Majesty Bank is going to be crucial, because Udwasha is coming at you hard and fast now that you have a demon prince of your own. And yeah, you have pretty much one shot to cause chaos, acquire currency, and possibly throw off the shackles of debt from the Kethrisi population.
Wham! There goes gravity. Something. Mom spaghetti. I actually am not a rap person. It's just when you said one shot, I was like, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But this is not a
I
one
like
shot. This is a campaign.
Yes.
I like that you think that they're called rep persons.
That's what they're called. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
It's a new term for them.
Yeah. There's not a new term. That's what they've always been called. That's what my dad called them.
Yeah. Very
There's
good.
a person on the corner when you need a new rep, you go up to this person and he gives you an invoice, and then you take it to another person, and then you redeem it for a new rep.
Yes.
Correct.
Mhm.
That's how that works. Everybody knows
Yes.
this. I watched a 3-hour video about the beef between
Yes.
you
We all
know,
did.
him and the other guy. Yeah.
We all did.
Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Yeah,
Kendrick
that's
Lamar.
what that is.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
I like how the thumbnail implies that they're anime villains fighting each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of being on the corner,
Yeah.
shall we start with gathering info? Shall I frame a scene?
Yes.
Oh, please do. If you want to go straight into it, I would love it.
Okay. So these boots from Jackal, they're well worn. They've been used quite a lot. I've roundhouse kicked a bunch of people. I did not stress in the moment that I was roundhouse kicking people with Jackal's boots, but of course I was wearing Jackal's boots while I was roundhouse kicking people.
Yeah.
Now they're good boots. They're made for walking. They're not made for roundhouse kicking people multiple times.
Yeah.
So you do need to maintain them. So
Mhm.
I am in under the shade of the evening sky with the sun mirror down, just getting like, I don't know, the heel of the boot kind of like reinforced with I guess the glue is made from horses or probably goat bones. It's kind of like getting that done because if you're on a high stakes heist, the last thing you need is the heel of your boot snapping under you. Right.
These boots are made for walking, and yeah, it would be very bad if they didn't walk all over you. Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm there with my cobbler, whose name is Iron Man.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
It's the
Yes. Carry on.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Yes, that's his name. Correct. Thank you.
Yes,
Please go
yeah.
on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I'm imagining Iron Man as this big, muscled dude who's got like a lot of like burns on him. I think that's why it's called Iron Man, because people asked him like, "Where'd you get all those burns?" Ironic accident, sir.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool. Great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'm hanging out with Iron Man, and then I kind of like lean back and sing, Iron Man. A man came to me the other day with lots of washing and dirty laundry he needed laundering.
Oh, is that so, sir? I can recommend a cousin, sir.
Iron Man, and I lean forward. Iron Man, I'm surreptitiously hinting about Munna. Also, I know who you are.
Yeah. He pauses, and I think normally he is quite chatty about his ironing accident and other things, but he quiets down a little bit, and there is this like long look in his face, and then I think he simply goes and closes the door,
Mm.
like one of those closes the door, makes sure no one is listening kind of deals,
Mm.
without saying very much.
So I always imagine Iron Man as like a street cobbler, like he goes around with his box of cobble
Yeah.
stuff and so on. So I like the idea that he's closing the door because it's my door he's closing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes
And
sense.
then so he closes that, and then so attentive viewers, listeners, I mean, as attentive listeners might remember that Bidrohi had an encounter with the Vigilant, who are the secret eyes and ears of a vigilante organization that operates in Uduasha. A lot of people consider them an urban legend, but we had confirmation that they exist because they contacted Bidrohi while he was in prison in the Falcon's Perch, and they kind of like evaluated him as, to size him up. Is he a problem? Is he an ally? Especially because he was interested in talking to Munna. And then at the time he was told by them that if he wants to work with them, that he should contact their contact, who is this man, Iron Man, whom he had known all his life.
So yes, Iron Man is one of the Vigilant indeed, and he's a contact at least, and he looks cautious and concerned, but having caught on to that you're quite serious about this, yeah, he does a security check of the area.
Very good tactical sweep, Iron Man, sir. And this is the first conversation he's had with Iron Man, since knowing that Iron Man is more than what he seems. So he's not entirely sure how to address Iron Man. It wasn't particularly differential before, but now he's a bit like clearly awkward. And then he says, "So, the problem with like dealing with guys like you super spy people is that I don't know how much exposition you guys need. But Munna was in my house the other day because of the wake for my dearly departed mentor, and he paused and he like lets an ellipsis hang there to see like if Iron Man gives any sign that he knows that was also bullshit.
Yeah, I think he does give. I think he gives like a nod where he goes like, "Yes, I follow you," and "Yes, I know things about this that you haven't told me." That's like the look in his eyes.
Okay, so he came over with some uniforms, Hive member uniforms, to wash, and he also told me why he was giving me to wash them, which is that I will use them with my fellows in our upcoming raid on the Majesty Bank, which is something we wanted to do anyway, because of our own reasons, which I assume you are generally appraised of. But also that is where Saturman, the leader of the Hive, is also working as private security now for one Venkatesh Anixis. And then that is the setup. Last time I spoke to your organization, I said that
I think you see, incidentally, a lot of expressions come over his face that make it clear to you that like he knew some about this, but he also some of this information is new to him. For example, I don't think he knew precisely what Munna's plan was. Like, they didn't overhear the conversation between you and him. So he's like, okay, I'm taking this into account. So he doesn't say much, but he's paying very, very close attention to everything you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So then he says, so the last time I spoke to a member of your organization, it was with the sort of like, I guess, evaluatory vibe, I suppose. A sort of like, if you prove yourself to be in bed with this Munna guy, you're going to get the chop. And then he makes a slicing motion. But obviously, you know that I am in bed with him for my own purposes because, well, I kind of have to be, I think. And he has given important information here. So the thing is, I want his information to be good for us. I don't particularly hold a grudge against him, but also I am not a fool. He's a scary man, and the more we do for him, the more likely he is to get his grips on my people now, and in the upcoming project regarding my people that we are building towards. We don't want to be indebted to this man.
Yep.
So I thought I'd appraise you to see what your organization will do about this.
Okay. It sounds like a gather information role, right? Or is it something else? Is it?
I'm not sure. It's more like covering my ass and kind of like being transparent and accountable to this particular ally.
Fair
I'm not
enough.
sure what the result would be.
Yeah, then I don't think there's a role. If you're not, I was just trying to clarify if you're trying to get something useful for the score, but if you're not, I know what he's going to say. So
yeah, I don't necessarily want to get something more important for the score, mostly because we have so many elements.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily trying to add more.
Yeah, he takes all this in and then he sighs and he sits down on a chair and he says, "Well, to be indebted to this man is a very bad idea." And he drops, I think he's normally very, very polite to all of his customers, but he kind of drops that now and speaks to you as an equal, as a member of the Vigilant. But he looks you up and down and he says, "Fortunately for you, I don't think he is looking for debts. I think this man is looking for the exact opposite. I think this man is looking to have many, many debts cancelled out. You must understand, he has lost many things. He used to run this city. He does not. He has lost things, he has been revealed, he has been outed. But many, many of his rivals, they have connections with the Hive, with this bank. You be careful. He is looking to drag everyone else down to his level. I think this is his plan. It is not necessarily an objectionable plan, but if you are helping him with this, we need to know so that people are protected when his thugs move in on others' territory. And they will."
It seems to me that obviously the main reason I'm speaking to is transparency, but it also seems to me that these Hive people, they're also bad for Uduasha. Taking out Saturman would be beneficial, which is my main interest at this point. And well, I don't know, how can I be of assistance to you in your further quest to prevent Munna from filling the void, as it were? Because I think you know that my intention is, after what we need to do at the Majesty Bank, that we leave Uduasha. So my personal ability to stay here and prevent Munna from, as it were, filling the void will be very limited. I don't want to leave you with this problem. So what can I do?
Oh, interesting. He thinks about this for a while, and he says, "First, you can provide advance warning, which you have." And he like gives a small smile as he says that, because that's good, you know.
Yeah.
There will be chaos and so on breaking out. Second, most of Munna's information went live in the papers some time ago. You remember. Lots of his secrets revealed, lots of his nests rooted out.
I remember.
If any of these secrets remain, Munna always does things for 2 or 3 or 4 reasons. If any highly sensitive, secretive information still exists on him which is not made public, it must be held by one of the few people in Uduasha he fears. Venkatesh Anixis. Probably there is some papers this man has that are dangerous to him. This way, you could help. And I think you flash back briefly to your conversation with Munna when he discussed Venkatesh Anixis. And he did have like a respect and almost fear for the guy, right? Like this man who's outsmarted all of House Anixis. And of course, a man like that has made sure to have some sort of leverage over Munna as well. It only makes sense.
I think Bidrohi is thinking through, and I think a new plan is kind of like forming. And then he leans forward and says, "I can try to get, once we're in there, I can get whatever information I can out of Venkatesh Anixis' safe or from his mind or whatever. I'm going to do the best I can. But I think there's two organizations in Uduasha that are the masters of invisibility. There's House Anixis itself. But House Anixis, well, we see them. We know that they exist. And then there's the people that you are a part of. And people say that you don't even exist at all. No one is more subtle and more capable of extracting information than these two organizations. What say you to joining hands with us in this operation? I don't know if it is something you would do, because it is at least partially an incursion against the demon houses themselves. But if you were to give us more information, help us with the scouting, secrete one of your men amongst there with us to find the information that you need. Bring one of them in with us. Whatever involvement you can do. Make this a joint operation. Then that would, I think, make it even more likely that this does not advance Munna's goals.
Yeah,
And now I think I'm making a roll, right?
I think you are. I think you look at him and you're asking them to actually participate in this operation, actually send one of the vigilant inside. And
help us with gather information and so on.
Yeah. So help you with gather information is one thing that they can do.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're trying to persuade them to actively tip their hand in this, you have zero effect. The Vigilant are, as you say, a very, very invisible organization, and they are this because they are very careful.
Yep.
And it is totally unlike them to participate in a pretty impromptu score knocking over a bank.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be risky 0 by default.
Okay.
You can get it up to risky limited, in which case they will maybe provide some assets, but still not one of their people. You will need to get a risky standard if you actually want to get one of the Vigilants, like super spies, involved in this. But you start at risky 0.
I'll ask the others how they feel about this, because it's something that would make sense for Bidrohi to ask. But I'm neutral on it as something to actually pursue. Are we interested in having the Vigilant involved in this?
Before that, well, there was a lot. Why does your cobbler know about all this again?
He's secretly one of them.
Yeah, we could have some. We could have a vigilant. Why not?
Yeah, I think my thing is whether it as we said earlier, there is quite a lot of things going on already. I think it might be more interesting if the vigilants say no thank you, and then behind the scenes they may be even doing something, but we're never gonna know what that thing is. That's how good they are, right?
Yeah, but maybe they can give us some information.
Sure.
That can help us.
Yeah.
Then, Prince, if it's okay with you, I'm happy for this to automatically fail and to be turned down. So, but it would be interesting if I could use them to gather information, or is that not possible either?
It is totally possible to gather information.
Okay. Is that something? What would that look like?
I think gather information in this scene is a straightforward consort. Like, you know them well enough that you can get intel out of them, and gather information is normally not risky, and I don't think it is in this case either.
Okay.
The question is what you want information on.
Yeah, so maybe. Okay, so how about this? So I think maybe what happens is that Bidrohi asks about them participating directly, and I get turned down, and then we can flash back to me getting some specific information out of them later, because I don't have any specific ideas at the moment.
All right, fair enough.
And it makes sense as well, because this is me kind of opening that channel up, and then maybe ask them for information later, because I don't know what to ask about them right now. Yeah,
sure. But yes, I think the reaction you get then is just he shakes his head and he says, like you said, we don't exist. People who don't exist do not crash into banks unannounced.
Yeah. And then I think Bidrohi just says, well, I hope you do not mind the audacious request then, but I would very much appreciate any information that you are capable and comfortable providing about at least the hive. and Sadurman.
Mhm.
And then we can take care of the rest.
Yeah. He says, he gets up and he says, I'm very sorry I could not be at the wake, sir. He says as he like opens the door and falls back into character, right? And he says, I hope my card with condolences has arrived. If it is not, then it must be late in the mail, he says very meaningfully. And this is how he will get the information to you via condolences card for Saida.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Very nice. And I think Bidrohi is going to walk away. And I'm going to voice the idea that the question that's in Bidrohi's mind, and I'm perfectly happy if this never ends up answered. There are two organizations in Uduasha that are famously invisible. There is House Anixis, which has the paradox of being both seen and unseen. And then there's the Vigilant, who no one ever sees. And the Vigilant have just refused to help us against House Anixis.
Yes.
Is the Vigilant House Anixis?
This is very much a possible question.
Don't ask me no questions, and I'll tell you no lies.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows indeed.
Not me. I won't find out. That's how you stay alive.
Yep.
So that's me. That's my first scene.
Good. If other people have spontaneous gather information scenes in mind, we can do those. Otherwise, I will do a rundown on what is publicly known about the bank, I think.
Yeah, I think rundown would be good.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I have an idea, but the rundown would still be good.
Cool. Then yeah, just to recap what it is. The Majesty Bank is the most esteemed banking and lending institute in the city, and it has handled a lot of investment money, particularly in Kethris. It is why basically everyone who still owns land in Kethris is indebted.
Mm-hmm.
It's located in a well of stairs in Pasarhantu, low down, like inside the stone itself, meaning it has a bunch of the markets above it. There's a bunch of stairs spiraling down to it, and it is a very secure, very majestic stone building. It is managed and run by Venkatesh Anixis, who is one of those people. A lot of the people you deal with have been famous throughout the city, right? Venkatesh Anixis is a deeply boring man on the surface of it. He is the guy who doesn't appear in the papers, and if he does, it is to cut a ribbon somewhere. Like he's, for all intents and purposes, a dull bureaucrat. But according to the intel you got from Munna, he is clever enough to have outwitted even his own house to sequester away a shit ton of money. And he has recently recruited Saturman and the Hive to be private security, as he no longer, as there's enough turmoil that he doesn't feel like he can trust his old people. So he has fired a bunch of people. There's been a little bit of a purge of security personnel. He has needed to bring in outside help. He is paranoid at the moment. Like, only a paranoid person would do such a thing, right? And I think the other thing that is personally known is that he used to have bodyguards from his own house, but he has now sort of extracted himself from that arrangement and is managing things very much on his own at the moment without the involvement of the rest of House Anixis. He has always kept the house at an arm's length, but now he keeps them even more at an arm's length. Now he keeps them at 2 arms length.
And as with everything to do with House Anixis, this may all be bullshit. There's another thing we know.
Mm-hmm.
He is quite fond of going to Charmin's auction house in Pasarhantu.
Yes. That is true. That is another thing that is known.
Yep. I think that's it, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as for the bank itself, well, it's got high security, it's got high personnel, it's probably got various kinds of technology, but, I mean, that's not public information, so that's something you'd have to look into.
Yep.
And, yeah, it's built into the stone wall, so it's pretty secure.
Yeah, so I have an idea here. I think Sree on Kethris would like to meet Pritichandra Videha because she's the kind of person who would know about the bank, right? Because she's literally been dispossessed by the investors of the bank, right?
Yep.
And it may be the case that she's tried to go in there and demand her rights or something, and she knows something about the security of the layout or something.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Only the bank has dispossessed her. No one else has done that.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
That's how it works. Why would you? No, you wouldn't. Anyway.
I'm obsessed with the idea of this woman meeting Sree and Kethris, who is
Yes.
not a human
Yes,
being.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. This
Mhm.
is why, like, yes.
Pritichandra never even met Saida, I think. He just met Bidrohi. So
Would you
Yes.
like a human escort, or do you just want to do this on your own? I think both are funny.
I think a human escort is good because I think Sree and Kethris is doing this by through vibes, through being like, yes, I am one of the I belong to Kethris and Kethris belongs to me, and she is one of the gentlemen of Kethris, and so must be someone that I must speak with regarding the bank. Apparently, we're gonna do something, and I'm gonna be helpful.
The most sensible person to accompany you is Bidrohi, but I think the funniest person to accompany you would be Mushfik, and we haven't seen a
Yes.
Mushfik scene with Ankatris yet.
Yes, I agree. Is the reason this is happening is that Mushfik happens to be in the same place as Pritichandra when this occurs?
I mean, that makes sense. Maybe they're at this bar that Mushfik frequents.
Yes.
We haven't really established where Pritichandra is found.
I don't think Mushfik and Pritichandra frequent the same kind of bars.
No.
You never know.
She'd frequent the kind of bars you'd want to take somebody to impress them, right?
Mhm.
Oh, yes, let's do it.
So 2 double dates. Wait, no, that's not what it means. Double dates.
No, it can be 2 double dates.
Uh-huh.
Me and my partner saw you from across the bar, and we
Uh-huh.
really
And we
detested
really
your
like your
vibe.
vibe.
No, we detest it.
Uh-huh.
Here's the setup. Alkader, who is constantly trying to woo this lady, who probably goes along with it because she has literally nothing else to do, goes to a cool bar. Who else is at the cool bar? A couple on a date. Who else is going to be on crashing the party? A god.
Who else is also going to be crashing the party? Someone very interested in the way this date is going.
Uh-huh. Yes.
I feel like Bidrohi should be here because, why should you miss out on the fun?
Okay, I'm there.
Let's not spend over much time on this, but yes, it's a very
Yes.
nice bar. It's a nice establishment. It has places to lounge. It has places to smoke. It has a bar to drink at. And I think we open on this rather colorful place with hanging silk curtains and nice carpets and general chill and nice and a little bit romantic vibe. And the first scene we see is Alkader talking to Pritichandra, or talking at Pritichandra more like. She is just kind of nodding along and being very bored. And what Alkader is doing is discussing political theory of the future Kethrisi state. So
Yes.
he's like, on the other hand, this particular philosopher. So he's just rattling off political philosophy of nationhood.
The state has the monopoly on violence, but monopolies are all bad. We should desegregate the monopoly and have an oligopoly of violence.
Don't make a Bitcoin of violence. That's bad.
That's why the state will have multiple departments, all competing with each other competitively to do violence.
No.
Yes.
No. I hate
I
everything.
see the anarcho-liberal state.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alkader is discussing political theory. He's very good at political theory, you see. And Mushfik and Clem are, I suppose this is the kind of awkward situation where you just happen to go to the same bar, but then Alkader is there, so he has gone my friends, come sit with us, have a drink. Let us discuss the future of our nation. So now it's a double date where Alkader is also talking at you mostly, but
Wait, I'm going to roleplay, and my character would try to hide from Alkader behind the menu.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Speaking of hiding behind the menu, in a corner there's a man with a newspaper with holes cut out for eyes.
Yes.
Because it's very funny.
In a bar?
Yeah. It's alright.
Good.
I'm going to allow me to roll prowl to see if I can hide from Alkader.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see if you have hidden successfully.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so he has not spotted you and has not explained political theory to you yet.
Very
He has
good.
spotted someone else who's very large and very, very hard to hide.
Correct.
And wears a big cowboy hat.
Wow.
Ah,
No.
And is waiting for her date.
wait, who?
What are we referring to now?
Clem.
Clem? Where's a cowboy hat?
Yes.
Clementine?
Uh-huh.
Clem's been wearing a cowboy hat this entire time. I'm sorry if that's changed
Uh-huh.
anything. I'm just thinking-
Look at the art. That art that greets you whenever you open Roll20. The art. You see
Uh-huh.
it?
Yeah, it's there.
Oh. Oh, I didn't think it was a cowboy hat. It just looked like could be any kind of hat actually. You know, it could be
It's
a
a-
fedora as well. Yeah, it's a very stylized hat. There's no way to tell what that is. A cowboy hat is a very specific hat.
It's actually one of those Aussie bush hats with the corks.
Yeah, it could be that as well. Yeah.
I think Clem is pointedly ignoring Alcada.
Mhm.
It's like reading the menu, like, yes,
Mhm.
expensive.
Yeah.
You do whiskey, neat.
Yeah. I think what happens as you ignore Alcadar is that he talks to his date and then he begins to shout political theory at you from across the room, even though you're not listening. He goes like, Clementine, you must tell us how this is done in Severos. I'm sure you have many great philosophers there. Well, of course, I'll let you order first.
Yeah, which we also ignoring just quietly says that the roasted lamb shank here is very good.
Good.
Should we get it to go?
Where in all of this is Sree and Kethris?
I have just entered through the door.
Okay.
For,
You just walk down the street these days?
I'm sorry to tell you, but the umpire has taught me how to walk down the street without
Okay.
attracting attention,
Mhm.
and that is to not walk down the street, but to flit from alley to alley.
Mhm.
Okay. Sure. That makes sense to me.
Yes. So you're just normally flitting down the street like a normal person.
Yeah, but now
Uh-huh.
I understand that there is no way for me to speak to this man at this time, it's the appointed time, except by walking through the door. So that's what I will do.
As you do that, the eyes bulge out through the holes in the newspaper.
Good.
Wow. Yes. Good. I will. I guess if Al-Qadr recognizes me, be assaulted by political theory.
I think as you walk in, he's slightly weirded out actually because he knew Saida very well. He doesn't know. He doesn't know you very well, but he knows that you exist. So I think actually your presence kind of shuts him up for a moment, and I think he says, "Oh, but dear me, let me freshen up your drink for you." And he just like it's actually you who make him awkward for once, and he's
Great.
going to go get a refill for his date. I guess the bartender isn't like they're sitting at a table probably, and he takes this as an excuse to go order something nice for her. So he flits away.
This is what he deserves.
Mm-hmm.
I sit down as he flees, and I will say, Pritichandra Videha, gentleman of Kethris. That is your name.
Yes. How do you know Alcadar? He says and looks after him with a. As you said, she goes on dates with him largely because she has nothing better to do, and he's at least a person who can like hold a conversation and is somewhat educated. But I think the look about Pritichandra at the moment is she is like she's ostentatiously overdressed in the way that only a penniless noble really is, right? Where it's like he wears really nice clothes and really nice jewelry, and it's the same really nice clothes and really nice jewelry because she has to maintain status, but it also has the look of like he's been, carefully washing these and staying indoors the entire day. It's washed, and then she wears it for a week, and then she washes it, and carefully stays indoor that day, and so they're just starting to look a little worn.
Yeah, I will say, the person who owned this body before I did was known to him. I think they were known to each other quite well. But I may be known to him, but he is not known so well to me. In any case,
she definitely raises an eyebrow at that.
Yes, as she should. I would say, in any case, Pritichandra, I am not here to speak to, of, or even for him, though that time may yet come. I am here to speak to you, for I hear that you and I share a name.
Vida? She says, looking at you in confusion, like, are we related?
No, on Kethris.
Ah, so you're the political praxis. I see.
Oh, has she not heard the rumors? Because rumors are supposed to circulate through the community.
Absolutely, yeah. She has definitely heard, like, hence why she thinks this is the political praxis, right? Alcadar's been talking theory. Here is a person who has some authority, it seems. Uh-huh.
And I will say, I am indeed the practice of politics made manifest. No, I apologize. That is the kind of thing that the owner of this body would say. No,
You should apologize for that.
Indeed, yeah, exactly. And Sree and Kethris is trying very hard, actually, to not fall into old habits and be, like, really weird. No, weird in a new way. That's what we seek.
Yeah.
I say, no, it is my name, as it is yours. You are of Kethris. You were born there. Your parents were born there.
Yes.
Your house had a banana tree, 300 years old.
Yes. Get to the point, she says, getting increasingly irritated, being reminded of everything she has lost. Because I will
Indeed.
remind you, she has
Yes.
indeed actually even lost her name because you stole her passport. So
Indeed, yes, correct.
Let's not mention that.
I think, though my aspects are many and varied, the aspect that is core to me is Aunt Kethris, right? And so I will reach out my hand to her and I will say, the point is that you and I are more than family. You and I are connected to our souls. And this, what you do here, speaking to a man you find boring because you find nothing else more interesting, this is against our creed. It cannot be permitted to continue. And maybe I'm consorting? No,
Yeah.
I'm commanding. This is force of personality.
I was about to say, though, you're not really looking for information yet. So
No.
I think
Like,
if you're trying to just pull her away, there is no roll. She says.
Okay, great.
She
Yes.
says, very well. If you have news from Kethris, or for Kethris, or of Kethris, she says, mimicking what you said about speaking from or for Alcadar.
Yeah.
Then let me hear them, and let me hear them on the roof. He can find me there later.
Good.
And she's going to take you to the rooftop of the bar, because I think it has one of those where you can walk up, and it has like an outdoor section on the roof.
I turn around and I lock eyes with the pair of eyes behind the newspaper, and then I walk up the roof, or up the stairs, and I will say, once we're up, and I think, like, it's somewhat, it's a pleasant evening. That's why they've come out, I guess. And I will say, those. Praxis is such a strange word. That I am one of a group of people who is going to take Kethris back. And it is my understanding that you are knowledgeable about the place we may do it. And I am here to ask you for information about the place. This is my purpose. But my purpose here is also to convince you to return with us so that you too may be one of us, fully and truly, instead of being as you are here.
I am knowledgeable of many places in Kethris, but very few in Uduasha.
Yes, it is a what did he call it? A financial place of royalty. No, the Majesty Bank. I hear many of Kethras's most important papers are kept there.
Yes, she says simply. Yes, they are.
And you have been there.
I have.
Sree,
Yes.
I have a question. Something
Yes.
I'm really curious about this moment. What does Sree and Kethris sound like? Do you sound like a human being speaking?
No, sometimes when I move my mouth, the words don't come out, and sometimes I've stopped speaking, and then the words come out because I haven't really gotten the hang of how to make the body and the thing the body is supposed to do sync up in the right way. This is also why, like, my shadow moves before I move sometimes.
Okay, so we are to imagine Sree and Ketris poorly dubbed. Is that the idea?
Yes, correct. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
This woman's
Um,
taking it very well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yes.
she is. Because I'm also speaking political praxis.
Yes, I think she is getting increasingly unnerved because I think it's subtle enough that you don't maybe notice it in like a quick casual conversation. But now that
Yeah.
she's looking at you more intently or having a longer conversation, she is, increasingly weirded out by it.
Yeah.
I also have a suggestion for Sree. Because there's no way Bidrohi would be able to supply this in character, but just
Mhm.
something that occurred to me at like a poetic
Mm.
level. She doesn't know. She knows Kethris. She doesn't know Uduasha. You have mentioned Majesty Bank is a place full of records of Uduasha. Paper is made from the trees of Kethris. So essentially, the Majesty Bank is in some way a recreation of Kethris, file stack after file stack, about the trees, about the land that is made from the trees that comprises the paper. So in a sense, it is a recreation of Kethris in Uduasha, is it not?
Yeah. And I have an equally fucked up idea, which is I am attempting to convince her, but I am not human. But what I can do is extend the thought tendrils of the god from my own mind to those around me, which currently is only her, because we're up on the roof.
Okay, so you're trying to read her mind about the bank?
It's Glorious Visage. It's a psychic attack that inflicts 3 stress on me and has an effect determined by my trauma level.
Okay.
And I think what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to say this. I'm going to say they have recreated Kethris and they have done so poorly. But I am also going to reach out and try and hold her shoulder so that like I try and communicate, but instead what I'm going to do is show her the glory of the Prince of Endings, one of
Okay.
whose names is Kethris, so that she may be convinced of the rightness of the cause and, become Kethris herself.
Okay, what does this actually do to a person when you show them the face of the Prince of Endings?
In this case, what I think Sree thinks it's going to do is reveal to Pritichandra exactly who she is at her core, that she is Kathrisi, that she is like even a gentleman, whatever that means, and so she should be loyal to us, reveal to us everything that she can, and then like join us in liberating Kethris.
Okay, so you are using divine powers on a normal person.
Yes.
I'm going to call this a roll with stakes. You will get information out of it, but you will also get her to your side. Your effect is standard. Your position is desperate because this risks destroying her.
Yes, great. I take 3 stress just to do this, which again makes perfect sense. It's the visage of the
Yeah, and I think you're attuning.
Great.
Also, remember that I set you up indirectly a couple sessions ago, where I spoke to the Begum Kushmi Jamidar and spoke to her about getting the landowners on side with us.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
In that case, let's call it desperate great. Let's say that you have greater effect here. I don't think it can be not desperate because you are using
absolutely
fucked up things that are not good to apply to a person. So
yeah. I'm going to mark a fine ending, whatever that means, because I'm ending who she is now and turning her into something new.
Okay, sure.
I'm still desperate great. I just like doing meaningless things. That's actually something I should talk to my therapist about. Feel free to cut that line out. But yes, indeed, I like doing these things. Attune, desperate, great.
Yeah, you have marked your fine ending. I have an idea for how that can go. So
okay, good. I have 3 dice. 3 dice and so many dice. It's a 5.
Okay. So she looks at you, and she will see Kethris revealed and unfold before her. And so there are a couple of things happening here. The first is that yes, you will get the information that she has. You will get, like, you have taken her name on in the form of a passport a long time ago.
Correct.
And so, because you have marked a fine ending, you may in this moment have her die as you absorb all of her memories. if you wish for this to happen, and have her peacefully expire and take all of the memories and all of the knowledge that she has, including that of her name, that of her family, which will let you reach out to her family that remains in Ketris, which will let you organize her remaining relatives, which will let you basically use everything that this woman had to her name. If you do not want her to die, I mean, you can also resist it, but your ending gives you two different options. If you do not want her to die, then what is going to happen here is that you end her name and her family lineage, and she can return to Ketris as Pritichandra, but the Vidyaha family is hereby doomed to be extinct. Her family name will not be carried on. The whole of their holdings and everything will be dissolved, and you will show her this. So if she survives, she will simply see that the restoration of Ketris means the end of her family lineage entirely. They will live on as commoners.
That is correct. That is present and correct. I'm going to mark my special armor because I have warded, so I can resist a supernatural consequence. And the supernatural consequence I'm resisting is whatever harm that is going to occur to her as a result of seeing this vision. I'm fine with the ending. I'm fine with her transforming, but it's a divine vision, right? Like she sees it and then she understands that she must utterly, completely transform, which is what we want. We want the previous thing to end, the new thing to also begin.
In this case, if you mark this special armor, you tell me what her destiny is now, and she will know it as well.
Oh, man. Yes, great. Okay.
So I was going to say her destiny is just to be like a nobody, right? Like her lineage ends, she is doomed to be no one. But you changed that, so...
Yeah, I think that... this is great. I think that her destiny is she will start a sword school, and she will call it the Gentleman of Ketris.
Okay.
And it is a reclaiming of the title, right? It's not you're not a gentleman if you are descended from a gentleman. You're a gentleman if you are what would otherwise be an ustad of the school, right? And the Gentlemen of Ketris are like, some combination of like knights and swordsmen, right? So not like the Rising Moon, who are peasant warriors, not like the Falling Star, who are like duelists, but these are people who are more like they remain only in Ketris, and they listen to the will of the people, but sometimes they also enforce their own morality, and they are going to like be empowered to do that, whatever that means.
Very good. So here is another consequence I'm throwing at you as a thing that happens, because I think it's interesting. So you see this reflected in her, you forge this destiny for her, and this woman realizes that, like, okay, I cannot cling to the past. I can't just go back to being a landowner. I will have to found this sword school. I will have to preserve our culture. I will have to, I will not ask what my country can do for me. I will ask what I can do for my country, etc.
Right. Yes.
And she came to Udvasha in search of a political marriage, and she realizes now what a foolish thing this is, because the best political marriage, the best alliance she can forge, is with a great swordsmaster such as Bidrohi.
Yes.
And she will not make this decision out of love. There's nothing romantic about this at all. It is just like a political marriage to Bidrohi would be extremely expedient to the both of us.
Absolutely. That is her destiny. If she realizes it, that's between her and Bidrohi.
Yeah.
And I think that probably it will be the case that in the sword school that she founds, being part of the community that you guard is going to be like really important, right? Like that is what she's taking from the Rising Moon rather than the Falling Star. What she's taking from the Falling Star is a sense of like we're better than everybody else.
And the supernatural insight you gain from this, since you did use a supernatural ability, is that she is here because she is, as mentioned, a penniless noble. She was here to try to marry into it. But she knows the Majesty Bank very well, because it's where the deed to her land is held. Like, Majesty Bank owns that now. It's held there. It's, probably in some sort of collateral for a loan originally, where it's technically she can still buy it back and technically no one else can buy it, but this is impossible.
Yeah.
And what you see is these Ketrisi land deeds. You see this forest of paper and ink that is held inside the Majesty Bank.
Yeah.
And you get an insight into exactly where it is. These land deeds are held behind a set of offices. So the vaults are furthest down, but there's a set of offices behind which all of these deeds are held in, not in the deep vault, but in a secondary secure location.
Yeah.
And it is behind Venkatesh Anixis' private office, let's say.
Oh,
So-
very good. Yeah, this
It's
is the
like-
stuff that he wants to always be on hand just in case.
Yeah.
Right? Yes,
Uh-huh.
absolutely. And I think like as this information is spilling into me, again, not clear whether she's saying it or what. Probably only takes a couple of seconds. And then I say, so I bid you, Pritichandra, gentleman of Kethris, burn bright and neither permit Uduasha nor the Empire to tell us who we can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she looks at you and she says, I see that. I see that now. There's a kind of liberty in being at the end, isn't there?
Yes. Freedom is the most double-edged blade.
So it is. And she looks up and she sees the tree of stars hang in the air above the well, casting its shadow over the city. I imagine the tower did not cast much of a shadow, but the tree has branches and roots. So there are these like weird shadows in the city now as the mirror turns. And she looks over at it, and for a moment it is as if there is the imprint of a great tree spreading out over all of Uduasha in this view from the root.
Yes.
From the roof. And I think that's the scene. You have found out where Anixis's like archives full of land deeds and things are that he holds.
That's exactly what I wanted. But also, we're gonna walk down the stairs and straight out of the bar. And I don't know what Alcala's gonna do, but
Yeah.
it's not drink with Pritichandra anymore.
No, it is not. She has moved on. Now she has found a purpose again. Yeah. We don't have to play out this scene now. This is probably more epilogue material, but I think Pritichandra will basically contact Bidrohi by letter about like, for the sake of the cause, I have certain important family members back in my home. We should discuss an alliance. And it's like very formal, but there is this implication that like, if you were to formally join my family, that would give you a lot of opportunities in Kethris. And if I were to join with your sword school, that would give me a lot of opportunities. We should consider this.
Hey, mom, lady wants to marry me.
Mm-hmm.
I show her the piece of paper.
Yeah. I think she looks over it, and yeah, I don't want to make a scene of it because I want to stay in like the bank heist thing, right? But I think she looks over it and she nods thoughtfully. And I mean, this is a very good marriage prospect. This is an arranged marriage she would definitely sign off on, right? So just from, woman from a fine family, has an education, has connections. It's again one of those things where like she knows nothing about Pritichandra herself. But she's like, oh, she has a very famous uncle, that I've heard of. Yeah.
Yes, I think Bidrohi's take on it is problems for future me if there is a future me.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so we have gotten some information gathered, which is like where are the land deeds and all of this like sensitive paperwork kept, and it is behind Venkatesh Anixis' office. And I think the interesting and secret thing here is that we know that Venkatesh Anixis does a lot of secret business that he doesn't necessarily involve his family in, and this is definitely part of that. Like he has his own private stash of secret documents. For whatever reason, Pritichandra's land deed is in there. It's probably hardly among like the most important things he has. But the information you're getting, just to be clear, is like where he keeps his like blackmail material and leverage. That's in there.
Yeah.
And I guess this land deed was like important enough that it got to join the other important documents, even if it's probably one of the less important papers in there.
Yeah, I mean it's all of the files of all of the, land, the land parcels that are above like a minimum level of worth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, in terms of our approach, we know that he's going to be away, that he likes to go to Charmin's site with the auction house. That's his vice. And if this were any other situation where like the whole point was to capture and kidnap him, I'd say that like getting him there is like the easiest way to do it, like when he's away from the heavily guarded bank. However, for two reasons, I'm not sure that that's the right approach here, which is mainly that our target is the bank itself. And secondly, the entire point is that this is a legitimate act of like post-colonial revenge or whatever that we as the sovereign house of Kethris proclaim ourselves in an act where we rush in and reclaim our title goods. And to make that really sing, we have to attack the building that has our goods. Whereas kidnapping a random member of the nobility is a different kind of vibe entirely.
Could we ransom him? I mean, I guess they wouldn't ransom him for everything in the bank now, would they?
No, I don't think so. And
No.
that also kind of like stretches the score out, whereas I think like speed and violence is our thing.
The reason
Yeah,
I'm
right.
pushing these land parcels or these land deeds as important is I think this is the kind of case where if you steal these deeds, like that gives you a ton of legitimacy because, I mean, the deeds say like the holder of this, or like they say who owns the land in Kethris, right? Which means that if you steal them, or even if you just burn them, you create this situation with like now there's no officially signed paperwork of who owns the most valuable land in Kethris, which is going to be a problem for the Uduashans who claim to own it.
And possession is 9/10 of the law.
Yeah. So there is like if you get all of his personal papers, including these land deeds, you can basically erase a bunch of records of who owns what.
Okay, I have a very silly idea. It's a bit complicated, but I think it could be cool. I don't know if this was established, but could we establish it now that he's aside from? I mean, it probably makes sense that like one of the things that he's always keen on buying at that auction house is Kethrisi artifacts.
Yeah, sure. He seems to have a bit of an obsession with Kethris, so that tracks.
Clem, are you capable of creating Kethrisi weapons?
I mean, we have a blacksmith who can, and I think Clem's worked with him long enough to have a rudimentary idea of how to make them. Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's possible for us to create an object that we then, through possibly amongst through our many contacts now in the gentry, put into Charmin's auction house as something to buy, confident that it shall be bought by Venkatesh Anixis, and that this thing is some sort of Trojan horse that lets us in.
We're going to hide inside a sword?
No, that's the thing. I'm trying to figure out, like, I mean, obviously it can't be a bomb.
No, my little joke. Yeah.
No, but like something there, like I don't know, something that like makes it easier for us to attack or like legitimizes it.
Or something that lets you smuggle at least one person in. I think the entire crew is going to be tricky to hide in an artifact, because
Yeah.
that doesn't make a lot of sense.
That's what the uniforms are for.
Yeah, you can possibly get something that can hide one person inside, I think.
Can Sree and Kethris become a sword? I don't know. I don't know what Sree and Kethris can do.
Neither does Sree and Kethris.
Yeah.
So sorry. I mean, as a Trojan horse, you didn't actually mean that we were going to hide inside an artifact. You meant that we make something that isn't really a significant artifact, but it looks like one, and when they have it, that gives us an excuse to attack and say that, well, it's because they had this thing that's ours.
It could be either one. I mean,
Okay.
if we could make it a bomb, that would work. If Sree and Kethris could jump out of a spear or something, that could work. I mean, I don't know. It's just an idea that kind of like came to me.
If it's for one person, I think the sensible thing to forge
You know
would be
what we
like
should
an
do? You know what we should do? Is to smuggle some kind of ancestor tree thing in there, and then Mushvik attunes to it and blows it up.
Yeah.
Which is what I've wanted to do for such a long time.
Was low-key my idea as well. It was
Uh-huh,
making
yeah.
a fucking tree or something, like a sculpture of the
Uh-huh.
tree. It's a sculpture of the Tree of Stars. It's
Yeah.
very rare. It was recently unearthed in Kethris. And look, we've got one of these in Uduasha.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay. So here's how I think the plan could work. Wood/Clem, I guess, like Clem does the rolling, maybe. They make the thing. We talk to Begum Kushmi Jamidar and have her be the person offering it up for sale as like, oh yes, this is the last heirloom of my house, dated so and so. Please, Charmaine, consider it for sale.
Yeah.
Then get bought.
Mm.
And then something fucked up happens that Sree and Ketris / Mushfik can take charge of. And then we jump in. It's
Yeah.
a little bit convoluted, but I think like it could work.
I mean, straight up, Sree has an
Mm.
ability that means they can't be seen for stress,
Yes.
right?
For a few moments, but yes.
Mhm.
You know what? If this thing is big enough,
Yeah.
you learned all about stealth from a fucked up supernatural being that hides in trees.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Why don't you also hide in the tree?
I think that it is perfectly possible to make this thing big enough for one person to hide inside, especially if that one person is Sree and Ketris, who can do weird shit. So yes, absolutely. You can make a fake ancestor tree. I think the one thing is that you will need some real Ketrisy wood to do it, but that's something you can feasibly come across. It's just a bit like heretical and probably not something Saida would approve of.
But she's dead. That's fine.
But she's dead. So yes, I think that you can totally make something out of wood that is like an imitation of the Tree of Stars that is large enough that Sree and Ketris can hide inside it. Yes.
What an idea.
And we're
Mhm.
still on board with Mushfik blowing this thing up?
Absolutely.
I'm happy with that.
It's something you've been excited about, so I'm very
Yeah.
excited to see you do it.
Yes. The only question is whether that will kill Sree and Ketris, but I leave that up to Sree and Ketris and you.
Hmm.
It will not.
Okay. Confident declaration.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go talk to Begum Kushmi Chamatar. There doesn't have to be a scene, but like, I mean, I don't know if you can just expect her to comply with this. We also need to source the stuff, I suppose. I don't
Yeah, but let's not overcomplicate it. Let's call it acquiring an asset. Simply, it is.
Okay.
It is an asset which is a 3-barrel bomb. It's kind of got a lot of purposes, but it's fundamentally an asset.
Okay. So I guess like, if it's crafting
Mhm.
using stuff that we acquired, then Clem does the rolling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Do any of your
Sounds good.
crafting bonuses come into this?
I mean, we have a workshop, straight up,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think this is using Severosi Ancestral Steel, and I don't think this is really Herald work either. Although,
What is heraldry if not a family tree?
Wow.
Wow.
Yes. Correct.
Good.
history students don't get at us in the comments and saying it's a completely different thing. In this world, it is now. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Good. This is how we achieve synthesis.
I will spend the stash to do that. And Tinker then, what sort of quality are we looking for?
Highest
Yeah.
possible, I guess. We want to get the richest man in Uduasha to buy it.
Yeah. Seems to make sense. Majesty Bank is itself probably tier 4 or so. So if you get tier 4, that is enough to totally overcome all of its defenses. Let's treat it this way. So if it's lower than tier 4, right, it might still be taken into the bank, but if it's tier 4, it will be taken into a sensitive spot in the bank where it bypasses obstacles and so on. Whereas if you get it to like tier 2, they'll get it there and they'll put it in a storage room somewhere. But
I mean, the worst I can do on this is a tier 3.
Yep. So you should be good.
Yeah, let's see. That's a crit, baby.
Lovely.
Okay.
That's tier 4 plus 2, so that's
Okay.
tier 6.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
So,
That's what I wanted for my crafting roll.
okay, Clem, I will let you
Mhm.
choose here. The 2 extra tier that you needed. So, like, tier 4 will absolutely get it smuggled into a sensitive location in the bank. Not a problem. Do you want the 2 extra tiers to represent subtlety, or do you just want to make a better bomb? Because
Please reconsider the first thought that you had, which I'm sure was better bomb.
Well, it's up to you, right? You can put this extra effort into making it like more elegant and more subtle and more desirable, so that it will be put somewhere more useful. Or you can just enhance the bomb aspect of it and make it charged with more spirit energy and more detonation power.
Kamehameha, or
Yeah.
just get Sree in all right.
Yeah. Yes.
Something to consider here is that if we are making something that is quality 6, then it's going to be displayed in the very special part of the Majesty Bank where Venkatesh Anixis keeps his most prized get-to-see artifacts there so that he can go there and gloat in the evenings and probably twirl his mustache.
Yeah.
Which means any bomb is going to be surrounded with the most precious artifacts of our people.
Yeah, but it's a spirit bomb, and Mushfik is setting this off, not just blindly incinerating things, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the better the bomb is,
yeah,
and the less subtle it is, the more we increase our chances of it also going wrong, potentially.
yes, but that was my point, right? You can go for precision or power here with your extra 2 tier, and I will make you choose. So I'm not going to say you can do a little bit of both. It's either very precise or very powerful.
Yeah.
So you can go either way, but I would say that we probably, I mean, out of character, we probably want precision because we're not trying to explode the building. We just want to make like a hole in the wall, right, to get in. Something like that.
That Clem's inspiration for this is Mushfik himself, right? Because it's his idea and it's his passion, I think, that's driving them onwards. And I
Yeah.
think when Clem thinks of Mushfik, they think of precision, of being quick and quiet, or at least able to get in and out a mercenary attack. I think that's what they will go for.
You know, that really goes to show that people who are in love with someone have no idea about them at all.
Exactly.
Damn.
Mushfik is nothing if not subtle.
Yeah.
Mm.
Very good. So, what is made then is a beautiful replica tree. It looks very much like the Tree of Stars. It also looks very much like a Kethrisi ancestor tree. And I think the story behind this is actually, I think with tier 6, I don't even think it's sold as a replica tree. I think it's sold as a preserved Kethrisi tree that's like by certain art has been like preserved in a living state. So it's like the purest form of Kethrisi wood for study and admiration. Like a taxidermied tree. It's fake, but it's being sold as a taxidermied tree, which is a sentence. But
Don't worry about it. It's a thing in Uduasha.
Yeah.
They'll buy it.
I want to briefly ask, I want to paint the scene about this a little bit, which is, what have we each managed to get from someone? What has someone given up? Like actual genuine ancestor wood. What has someone in our community given up to us for us to be able to make this weapon from? I think it's important to linger on this actually.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, I have a suggestion from Moonlit, which is she is on board with this right now. She is, she used to be critical, but she has backed you to the hilt. And I think the most logical thing is that you probably need a little piece of an actual tree to make this work, to make it like pass the muster. And you have the bonsai that you have kept very, very carefully throughout the entire campaign. It has been your mother's most prized possession. And I think it is a thing that very much makes sense to incorporate in this.
Mm-hmm. So obviously the real person whose consent we need for that is Uzra's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, I don't want to linger too long on family scenes here, but I think it is the case that Uzra will understand the importance of doing this, but at the same time is like, this is a sacrifice to her just as much as it is to your mother.
I think Bidrohi tells her that if we use the bonsai, then soon she'll be able to see the full big trees.
Yeah.
Bigger than any that she can imagine.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Who else in our community gives stuff up? I don't know who's supposed to answer these questions, by the way, but I thought I'd raise the question.
I think Bold Murad has given up his heraldry, his history. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He has volunteered his family tree to be the one that this one is pretending to be. And he understands that fundamentally it's still a betrayal, right? Of the tree that used to be there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It's like it has been established that he knows a lot about the trees and like his history and his lineage. So he volunteers to be like, his family suffers the indignance of being the ones who get announced to like, we haven't actually established his family name, but well, I guess it's something like this. So it goes like the bald family's tree. I don't know. But it makes sense. It's an indignity that he has to suffer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I have an idea. Al-Qadr Khatam gives. So we need quite a lot of wood for this. So obviously, like, we are not lingering on every single person who gives us a little bit of this and that.
Yeah.
But I think Al-Qadr Khatam produces something that he is actually even a little bit ashamed of, perhaps. But he's got 12 leather-bound hardback books made from ancestor tree paper.
Yep.
And so obviously this is a little bit of an abomination. But he hands them to us, and I think he doesn't tell us. He doesn't like comment on them, and he obviously seems primarily apologetic about having them in the first place. But I think if anyone bothers to open them up and read them, they will realize that they're his brother's writing.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was going to be his diary or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're his notebooks.
Makes sense.
Never published, these ones.
Mm.
All right. So, do people have more ideas? I'll ask that first. What people have given up? You can contribute more ideas. We don't have to.
So the community or like the player characters as well?
Community. Or
Okay.
I don't think we have any ancestor wood stuff ourselves, do we?
No, I mean Mushmik has his bananas that I don't know, but I don't know how he would give them up.
The point of the question is that we as players have decided to do this, but this actually costs our community something. So I wanted to linger on those items.
Yeah. Let me think. Would it cost Woman something? What
Does
would
he have
cost
something? He has no name.
He's
But,
rejected things. But Omid makes
rejected
sense as a person to contribute. You have gotten him on board.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe there's something he has that he shouldn't have.
Yeah. Because he rejected in a, well, I didn't want to be part of Kithris anyway kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, but when he really does. So I think.
I mean, he was on the bottom rung of Ketrusi society, let's remember, so he has good reasons to not be like super loyal to it.
Well, I think he would have kept something that could help. Let me just. Okay, yeah, move on to someone else. Let me think about this.
I have an idea actually for something that Omid could give up. Because he still has a family, right? Even if he came from a low status family. And I think it makes sense that if he comes from one of these families that's like spit upon and outsiders, I think maybe his family was tied to the trees in the sense that they were I think one of the taboo jobs is to deal with trees that die. Like sort of like a funeral or like a butcher of trees, right? When they get infected with because sometimes they do die of natural causes, right? They get like a fungus or something happens in the ghost field and the trees die. And maybe Omid's family were the people who were responsible for like burning the sick wood, which is why people like look down on them, right? They're like the killers of trees.
They're like the Rakshasas in Udwasha, right? Like
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And so maybe he still has some of his like father's tools that were used to like cut up the trees that can be used for this work.
I think it's a long like bident, all made of like gnarled wood, like that's been like blackened and hardened. And it resembles quite a bit like Moss's walking staff. Because like you use it to go through the deathlands, right? From tree to tree, dead trees that no longer protect you.
Yeah.
Salty, do you have someone?
I'm thinking well, she's not Catherine, is she? But Faris Jaleka. I think she has something of Kethris because she protects the community. I think maybe she has some sort of maybe trinkets or what have you. Perhaps some seized from criminals, others given to her as favors. And because we've repaired this relationship with her, maybe she brings them kind of half knowing in her heart they don't belong to her.
Yeah, I have an idea. Did we establish about Julika that she had been a sailor, I think? Or am I mixing things up? Is that part of her past? Maybe it wasn't.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't. But I think a thing that she could give up that makes sense as a thing that she could have, like a trinket, is a painting of Kethris that depicts the trees. That lets like Clem, who hasn't actually seen them firsthand, work with them.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All of that together combines into
Captain Planet.
yes, well, I suppose in a sense, the sickest tree sculpture you ever seen in your life.
Yeah, so you have made a tree sculpture infused with spiritual power. It's a very strange thing to make, an artificial tree. But then again, Charmin's Height specializes in strange and unusual artifacts, right? And yeah, I suppose this is no different than in colonial history, people auctioning off like, sacred statues from looted temples and stuff. It's basically exactly the same thing going on. It's like this used to be in a sacred space, now it's going to be in my garden or my museum, as it were.
And it's fine. It's perfectly legal. It's Begum Kushmi Jamidar's ancestral thing, and she's giving it up. It's perfectly legal. No one's stealing it.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
all good.
Mm-hmm. It's all above board.
Unlike everything else.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
All right.
Like everything else was also voluntarily given up by someone.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. This is how. Yeah. It's very unfortunate that all of the people had such big debts to the Majesty Bank, but it's all perfectly legal, all above board.
Yep. So there it is.
Yeah. All right. So you were going through with this auction, and I suppose then your point of entry is there's going to be. I don't know if I don't know if it's feasible for that to just like blow a hole in the literal wall, but there's going to be an explosion that will create chaos in which you can enter, and Sree can burst out of the tree in the process because Sree is some sort of immortal vampire. It actually makes sense that it's Sree for a lot of reasons. Sree, besides being like spiritual and stuff, also doesn't need to like eat or breathe or stuff. So,
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out digestion. This seems to be an important part of everybody's life. And apparently, the closet is not a normal place for me to stay. But then why was I put that? It's so confusing.
Yeah. So. Okay. There will be an explosion, Sree will burst out, the rest of you will be able to go in, one way or another. And we have rolled for the asset, so this will be your Trojan horse. And it's a possible point of entry. Do you want to gather more information?
Yeah, I do. So we have these 4 uniforms for 4 of us. And I don't know who's going to take those, but I would like to talk to the Vigilant, who I think have been surveying and surveilling the Majesty Bank far more subtly than any of us could do. I'm going to ask them if some people were to put on some uniforms and pretend to join the Hive guards, which obviously is something they'll quickly catch on to. But if we were to like put them on and like kind of like enter, like what's the best point of entry that we can like maximize our infiltration before people realize that we are not who we say we are? If that question makes sense.
Okay, so like where would 4 rookie guards not be questioned? Kind of.
Yeah, or is there like, I don't know, a particularly dark corner where like where the patrols kind of like disappear to and then kind of reappear from, that kind of thing,
Yeah. All right.
An opportunity.
Yeah, make your consort roll now. We already established that you talked to this guy. You will get this information as established in a condolence card for Saida. So.
All right. I think it's consort because I'm talking to them. Yeah.
Yep.
Do I have any sort of bonuses?
We have informants.
Yeah, so you're plus 1.
We do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Strange bedfellows. No, I'm not making nice. Yeah, okay.
Can I very quickly roll another d6 because I should have also got another die, and what if I rolled a crit to cultify Sorry, what if I rolled a 6 for Pritichandra?
Sure, you can unmark your special armor if you do. Just roll a d6 real quick. If
that
it's a
makes
6,
sense.
you can unmark your special armor, and that's the only consequence.
Yeah, okay. It didn't turn up, but it will at some point. Anyway, please go.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah. All right. So you have
Sure.
gather information, consort with +1 die.
Okay, so I'll just go do that while we wait for trees. Hopefully 6 to show up.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 5.
Okay. So I think that you learn of 2 possible points of entry because it's always more fun to offer a choice. And I think, obviously, if you walk in through the front door and just go like, okay, tree rolled a 4, so the special armor remains marked.
Yeah.
If you walk in through the front door, that's a bad idea because, like, you will attract attention. People will go like, who are these guards? What the hell? But there are 2 options that could work. And the first of them is that they have a delivery entrance, as most buildings do. Like, they need stuff for just the everyday management of the bank. It's not very big, right? Because it's not like it's a factory, but they do need to get in, fresh sheets of paper and food for the people and like containers, boxes, all of that. That place is checked by guards, and it's a little bit like isolated from the rest of it. So like it's low level guards, right? They just basically check that like nothing is, they open all the boxes, they check that nothing is being smuggled in the boxes because they weren't born yesterday, and people might want to try to smuggle themselves into the bank in a box. What a ludicrous idea, but we'd better check.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, and these guards are like isolated from the rest of them. They don't have much contact with the rest of the guard force because they're a little bit out of the ways. So if 4 people were to walk in and go like, hey, where's your shift change? They probably wouldn't question it that much.
Okay.
So that's the basic option. But I will present you with another option because it's interesting. The more high stakes one, I think, is that the bank has a lot of people with a lot of responsibilities, like clerks and stuff. And those sometimes do get like randomly stopped by the hive guards because of Venkatesh's paranoia. So some of the high-ranking bank clerks and whatnot, right? They get stopped and they may get searched or questioned by hive enforcers on the way. And it is then a natural thing for those hive enforcers to escort them to the bank afterwards if they suspect anything is afoot. So that's a more like high-stakes profile, but it would let you essentially escort a guy in and go like, yeah, we've just questioned him out in the street. And that could probably get you past more obstacles because that would let you escort that guy to like his office or whatever, but it would attract some more attention, not the least from the guy you're interrogating. But you find out from the vigilant that this is pretty common practice now that Venkatesh sends out like 2 thugs to be like, are you loyal to me? Are you? Huh? Okay, I'm going to walk with you.
This is like playing werewolf with people who don't like playing werewolf.
Yes. I mean, the guy's paranoid, right?
Yeah, absolutely, as he should be, because he is going to get robbed.
This just sounds like your average white-collar job in Dhaka.
Yeah. These are your 2 options. Either question a bank clerk and escort him, or go via the delivery entrance, which is the more straightforward option.
I do think that we should use these uniforms. We have them, and now that we have an opportunity for how to use them, I think they should be used. I think, however, because we also want to make this an assault for propaganda reasons, I think it makes sense for Bidrohi to lead the assault from the front. So I don't necessarily want to be the person smuggling myself in. I don't know. It sounds like something that could be cool for Clem or Mushfik.
Mushfik and Clem as a pair of guards would be very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can take Pilot and Balmurad with you too.
Yeah, Pilot, Balmurad, Mushfik and Clem. I think it sounds like a good time. Then the question is if Mushfik and Clem want to go the social option of bullying a clerk or the more discreet option of just being like, hi, we're here to check the goods.
Explain the clerk route again. We're supposed to harass some guy into letting us in.
Essentially, yeah. Venkatesh, having heightened security, occasionally has his guards just randomly question people. And which means that the clerks are by now pretty used to getting ambushed by random hive enforcers who like questions them and then like escort them into their office as a power move. So that could be you. You could escort some poor clerk into his office as a power move to be like, we're going to search your office now. You're going to make sure you haven't hidden anything. Which is more high stakes, but also gets you further inside, right? So that's the...
What are you feeling like, Salty? Like, I think
Yeah. I'm down to harass some
Yeah,
poor middle class workers who aren't getting paid enough.
Yeah, very good. Let's go.
I think we could
Mhm.
we have an excellent 1-2 double act going on. Who's the bad cop
Mhm.
and who's the worst cop?
Oh man.
Mm,
Incredible question. I would also like to know the answer to this question.
We shall find out, I suppose.
Mm.
Yeah.
maybe
Okay.
maybe it's a race to the bottom, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Let's
point
shut
of
it off.
entry is Mushvik and Clem bully a clerk to get inside his office.
Mm.
Bidrohi leads an assault from the front, and Sree and Kethris emerges in a cloud of spirit bomb energy inside the like artifact room. Okay.
Indeed.
Mhm.
We should maybe establish some kind of sequence of events.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think you guys should go and get someone in first. And meanwhile, that's happening at the same time as a large group of Ketrasi are standing outside the Majesty Bank, protesting the acquisition of yet another Ketrasi artifact.
Yeah.
It's not illegal to protest. Well, maybe it is, but you know.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
it might
a brave statement, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can stand outside and kind of like be like, "Hey guys, oh well, what's up? What is this?" And then
Mhm.
once the
Yeah.
explosion happens, be like, "Get him, boys!"
Makes
Yes.
sense? So, step 1 is Mushvik and Clem get inside at all. Step 2, explosion. Step 3, Bidrohi storms the front door while everyone's confused by the explosion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
Step 4
Is-
is flashback.
Yeah.
Is there any way that maybe this won't come up, but how do we know when Sree and Ketris is in position?
I think
I
that
assume she's
is...
already
Bomb
done.
goes off.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
that's
okay.
kind of trivial to figure out because I think the artifact gets sold, and then Venkatesh
okay.
Anixis will very publicly just be like, "Boys, take it to the storeroom," and
Okay,
his
cool.
boys will take
So
it to the storeroom right away.
Cool,
Do
cool.
have
Alright.
Bound in Darkness.
Okay, so is there more information you want to gather? I will flag that there are surprises inside the bank, but none of you have,
I
asked
don't
about
have
them.
information.
So, yeah.
Okay. I don't have information either, but I should heal. I just realized that I have a
Oh,
level
yeah.
2 harm, and I'm one tick away from healing. So
Yeah.
let's just
Feel free to do that with a quick roll.
Yeah, I should probably
and
assist.
yes, I'll spend a coin for that because
Yeah.
I think I've used up my downtime actions. I don't remember, but I probably have.
Mm.
And we have how many dice am I rolling? It probably doesn't matter because it's only one tick.
We
Anyway,
have 2.
we have 2. Okay, well that's a 6, so I'm healed.
Nice. I have a relevant question here.
Yeah.
So I have 3 stress.
Yep.
Which is too low to reliably indulge my vice in, and obviously then we open up some sort of scene. But 3 stress is also potentially a bit dangerous. What do we think, guys?
I also have 3 stress.
I will frame it this
It's,
way. If you may indulge vice, if you overindulge, I will tie this complication to the score itself rather than make a scene of it. That I think opens up the option. So what you're risking is a complication added to the score.
Okay. I'm
Anyone
going
else here
to.
stressed?
Hmm?
Like who are the people who are stressed?
I have 3 stress. I don't know if anyone else
3
is stressed.
stress?
You have 3 stress.
I have 3
I
stress.
have 4 stress, but the way that I indulge in my vice is not yet clear. So
Okay.
Okay. Clem has no stress.
I'm having a great time.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly indulge my vice. Before I indulge my vice, something I'll flag is that we talked about the demon houses getting involved in this score, and we have not yet seen them make any sort of moves. I'd prefer that to be a surprise.
That is precisely one of the surprises I was thinking about. Yes, I was wondering if any of you were going to investigate this matter.
Mm.
I'm not going to like hit you with all 5 houses at once because that'll just be confusing. But I do have the notes that 1 or 2 of the demon houses have interests here.
That was actually what I wanted to find out.
Good.
Because what I want to find out is the likelihood that Ixis is taking his year off in the bank for tax reasons.
oh my god,
How best to avoid tax by hiding in the place where the tax goes.
it's a hot black Desiato.
Yeah.
Shit.
And this links into my crafting project.
Okay.
My head spins. Okay. Do we see that first, or should I
And-
indulge Vice?
Yeah, I think go ahead and indulge Vice.
Yeah,
First
sure.
and then, because
Okay.
I have a way to frame it, which will
Mhm.
be a scene, I
Hmm.
think.
All right. Let's go. Of course. What a time to crit.
Mm.
What a time to crit.
Okay.
Well, you clear all stress.
Okay, so here's, I think, the long and short of it.
Uh-huh.
Moonlit and I had a conversation that was kind of like we are sort of drifting off, but without saying it, right? Last time. And
You
I
don't
think,
mean Moonlit, you mean
sorry,
Mumtaz.
Mumtaz, yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought her name was Midnight, and then I got confused.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Mumtaz and I had a conversation where we were sort of breaking up without saying it.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, that's probably like the actual conversation should probably wait. So she's still the person that I go to for, like, de-stressing and so on. And because of the number of plates I'm spinning and probably I probably like blurt out in a insensitive fashion the fact that I received a marriage proposal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't necessarily, and I don't know, like, maybe it's the way I say it. Like, I'm not saying that it's like, oh my God, you won't believe what happened. This hot woman is proposing to marry me. It's not like that, but it's not necessarily. It's not reassuring either. I'm not like really being there for her either. So maybe it's just like a callous thing to say the way I said it,
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think the other thing, I actually don't think it's any of that. I think Mumtaz is pretty comfortable with romantic rivals, and even with, like, she's a flexible woman. She'll sleep with a married man. That's fine.
Sure.
But the thing that gets her is that I think, as you mentioned, this like proposition that, like, there is this woman who has proposed that she might want to marry when I'm back in Kethris. The thing that happens here is that this is when Mumtaz realizes that you're actually serious about leaving Uduasha.
Oh, what you said about let's figure it out. Turns out you have figured it out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it sounds like you are confident that you will be leaving Uduasha. And we will see where that goes. But I suppose how we will treat this is we will treat this as cut off from your vice.
Okay.
Like, again,
That makes
I
sense.
don't want to have too many scenes now in the way of the score, but note that down, that like you and Mumtaz will need to have a talk, and you cannot indulge vice again until you do.
Okay. If I survive.
Yep, if you survive. But it makes sense to me to have cut off be the consequence here. It actually is perfectly logical. And again, the reason is not so much that, like, it's a romantic issue, it's that when she realizes that you're actually serious about leaving Uduasha, then the question is, does she want to be in a relationship with you? Right? Like,
Yeah.
will that just be drawing out the pain?
Honestly, the best course of action is for her to not be. But let's see.
Yeah, indeed.
Right. So that's what
Okay.
that happens.
Clem, how do you go about gathering information about where Ixis is?
So I feel we've got this land in Gilly Gilly Gully, and there's also the King of Limbs, right? This ancient petrified hollow tree that leads into Pasahantu.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's in Gilly Gilly Gully.
Yeah, but it reaches into Pasahantu as well, I think was established, because it's
Yes.
old. Mm-hmm.
What's the likelihood that I would be able to communicate with Little Lotus, who would be able to put me in contact with, a friend of a friend? Call
Okay,
you up,
you want to talk to the King of Limbs?
please.
Okay,
If
yes.
possible.
This is
I'd
crazy.
love to do that.
Yes.
Is it
Okay.
possible to speak to a petrified tree? Because they're fossilized, right? So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I have an idea for this, but let's do this as a roll before kind of situation to see how well this goes. So what I'm going to say is it's an attune to try to communicate with the petrified tree, and you have a +1 bonus because you have a friend, in this case Little Lotus, who's putting you in contact. And I think it is possible. However, this is not a risk-free gather information. I feel like there must be risk involved here.
There's never no risk when it's Clem.
Yeah.
I love to speak to.
Yeah, so I'm going to
things.
start you off at a risky standard, with the standard being you will get good information about Ixis, and the risk being that you are speaking with a thing that is maybe dead, but there are no ghosts in Uduasha. So you will encounter some weirdness here.
Recall also that you have now spoken to Saida about how to kill a demon,
Mhm.
and a fossilized tree also has a strange relationship with death.
Yep.
That's certainly one way to put it.
You should remember to, when you look into the abyss, wave, because it's very rude not to.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Be very polite.
Very demure, very mindful.
Mhm.
No, Clem's having a brat summer.
Yes.
Shit. Okay.
But
Oh.
anyway, I think what Little Lotus
Yes.
leads you to actually do is to sit underneath the King of Limbs, underneath the tree,
Mm.
and like basically be drawn in some sort of trance or dream. And I think the way to do this actually is to eat like a particular plant that Little Lotus points out to you, right? To put you in this trance.
Mm. Yes. And I think this is a place familiar to Clem, because Clem remembers being a child in Gilly Gilly Gully for some reason.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm fantastic. I'll just take risky stand, I think.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah. Clem is
I think it's
ontologically
interesting
fucked
enough.
up. Mhm.
And whose fault is that?
Yes.
Salty? I think it's Salty's fault.
Salty, yeah.
Let's see. There we
Nice.
go. Nice.
Lovely.
Very
Okay,
nice.
it's a 6. So there is no harm happening to you as you sit under this petrified tree. And what you learn is that yes, the tree is technically dead. Like, it is petrified. It is long gone. However, trees die slowly. Their souls are not like those of humans. And so what is happening here is that there is a soul from this tree that is like a faucet dripping into the well. Its death is incredibly slow and drawn out, and there is a little bit of soul left inside this tree that drop by drop is being drawn into the well. So you learn in this moment that the King of Limbs is not actually dead, but dying, just very slowly.
And so presumably is like on a really bad ventilator, taking more and more labored breaths.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, this is the
Well-
situation. Or maybe it is even...
Worse
Maybe it's
than
more
that.
accurate to say that it actually kind of is dead, right? It's just that its soul is so large that it's being absorbed slowly. So it's more like it hasn't fully crossed over to the other side. It is all of Gilly Gilly Gully is extended in its very, very long, like generations spanning wake and funeral.
You know what? You're right. That is worse.
Because
That's
the Udu is so powerful that it's implied to be able to suck up the life essence of living people near it. That
Yes.
implies
Yes.
that the King of Limbs had an immense soul beyond our comprehension.
Yes. I mean, the Tree of Stars is right above the well and it's doing fine. So,
It's doing fine. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, what happened to Prince Khatam anyway?
yeah. Well, he clearly isn't dead, so...
Mm-hmm. He
or
was
maybe
here
is.
all along.
Anyway, Clem, so you realize this about the tree. You feel it's the slow dripping of its soul. And I think what happens as you sit here is that you catch a drop. One of the drops of essence that's spilling away into the fire, into the well. And you look inside it and you glean something about Ixis. Yeah?
Yes.
And, well, Ixis, the demon, is spending a year dead for tax reasons. It is as you say. And where better to do it than to spend some time inside the Majesty Bank. And so you realize that in the sprawling, vast network of this bank, there is a worker who never goes home.
Oh.
There is a worker who is just kind of moving from place to place, who is at the back, filing paperwork. No one really looks at them too closely. They don't really draw attention. This worker is not a person. This is something that has been inserted here, as in like, oh, he's always worked here. I don't know, he just helps with the paperwork. He's at the back. Yeah, there is a fake person inside the Majesty Bank. He goes
And
by
it's
the name
not
of...
Venkatesh Anixis. Sorry, go
Yeah,
on.
it's not Venkatesh Anixis. No, Venkatesh Anixis is the manager. This is like a very... Like, I'm thinking in... it's the classical thing. The guy in an office who has a job that no one really knows what it is, right? He just keeps drawing a salary, and he keeps showing up at the coffee machine. People say hi to him in the morning. No one really minds that he's there.
Yep.
But yes, this man is named Dawood. And
He's named Dawood?
yes.
Incredible.
And he is... he's not real. Whether that means that he is Ixis or what the hell is going on with him.
What if it's
who
like?
knows?
Have you seen Severance?
No, I don't think so.
It's so. What if Ixis? Because it's like there's a work self and there's an outside self.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Ideas, man.
Very good.
Interesting.
Are you suggesting that this is Ixis's bank self?
Is bank sonar.
He's got his
yes.
work sonar and he's got
Yes.
his outie sonar. Yeah.
No, he's just Banksy.
Yeah. So anyway.
He's played by Adam Scott.
He can't wait for Aperol after work.
No, he can't.
Gosh, this is so relatable.
Uh-huh.
That's the title for this episode.
Yes.
That's not-
So, you have no idea what's up with this guy Dawood, right? Like, you know that he isn't real, but how much of this is consciousness of what is going on? Unclear. But there is a fake person inside the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, stay away from him.
And I think the reason you find this out from the tree is the idea that, like, as you touch this drop of soul, right, you get a brief insight into the souls of the people you're looking into, and you realize that, like, this Dawood guy doesn't have one. So,
Ah.
I think you should walk up to him and ask, "Hey, are you a fake person?"
yeah.
Hey, girly, want to go for Aperol spritzers?
No, you should definitely avoid this person. I'm saying it because I know that the first thing Salt is going to do is make a beeline to hang out with this person.
I see no reason that gunpowder treason should ever be forgotten.
I also figured that Salty would do it, and I'm encouraging it.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay, well.
But yeah, that's the information I was looking for. Thank you.
Good.
Wonderful.
Very good. Very good. Now let us cut to Mushfik having dinner.
That's it.
What? Mushfik is having dinner?
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
he indulges
also relieving
us.
his stress.
Oh, okay. Right?
Okay,
Offered
I
food.
guess. Who's he having dinner with? Or maybe just alone, like maybe sometimes it's nice to have some alone time before a big heist, right? But I think he's ordered something nice for himself, like probably some sweets,
Yep.
What would it be? Rashmalai, something like that, something very indulgent. And he's going, this is no good for my heart at this age. But eating it, voraciously. Anyway.
You're like in your early 30s. What are you talking about?
Yes,
Yes. Look, Mushfik belongs to a group of people who don't have very high life expectancy. So
Yeah. Well, he's overindulged.
he's
Right.
overindulged. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's why this is going to be a problem. And I'm doing a little bit of a timey-wimey problem now, but I don't want to introduce more scenes. Right? So, what is going to happen is that you are during the score, you are going to have a line at interrogating some office worker.
Mhm.
And this office worker, it turns out, is a regular at the same restaurant. So they're going to recognize you.
Excellent.
Like, they
Okay.
saw you there having this luxurious meal and was like, paid a bit of attention to you, right? Because they were like, oh, that looks really nice. I'll have what he's having. And and then this person is going to recognize you during the score.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, by the way, Mushfik.
Yeah.
You should bring Zahir into this.
Oh yeah, he is. Zahir and Mushfik had a real heart-to-heart last time as well, right?
Yeah.
Zahir's gonna be here, Omid's gonna be here, The whole gang's gonna
Yeah.
be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Zahir makes sense to be one of the people wearing the uniform actually, instead of one of our 2 cohorts.
Well, we can't separate Bolt, Murad, and Pilot, so it has to be who's gonna be the 4th guy.
Mm-hmm. Do we have someone else who makes sense? I mean, obviously not Omid,
Mona
because
Darling?
Omid's going to be.
It'll be really funny if it's sorry, Mona Darling. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's the right
actually.
person.
No, it would actually be really funny if it's Omid, because it's Mushfik's girlfriend, his best friend, and his hated rival all
Mhm.
hanging
Yes.
out. Yeah.
Yes.
What about Omid's Legion? Are they
All right.
under
No,
my
yeah,
command?
yeah.
Maybe they are. I don't know.
Maybe there. But Mona Darling would, I think. Omid's funnier. Mona Darling actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Let's say it's Mona Darling. Omid and Mushfik can do their thing later when they run into each other.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah. We are healed. We are not stressed. We're good to go.
Mhm.
All right. Are we at engagement roll, or are there other things we want to take care of before we get there?
No, I think engagement roll sounds about right.
Okay.
Just
Good.
one last thing. I'm so sorry to do this to you.
Uh-huh.
The
Mhm.
thing that I'd like to craft, please. So,
Oh yes. Go ahead.
Yes.
We talked
so
about
shall we
it
do this?
before.
Yeah,
Mhm.
according to the questions.
Yes, that sounds good. So what are you making, and what does it do?
Okay, so it is a spear that can take people's memories and shit and kill a demon.
Spear that can take people's memories and kill a demon. Perfect.
What's the
you know?
yeah?
Mhm.
What's the minimum quality level of this item?
So, I think the minimum quality level is what have we
5 makes
said?
sense.
Yeah,
To
I was
kill a
saying
demon.
the same as the tier of the demon houses, which is 5.
Quality. So quality 6 is a powerful demon.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I
You
know
can go
that's
for 6.
very that's the one I'm aiming for.
Yep. You can go for 6. I'm just saying minimum probably is 5 to be able to kill a demon, but 6 is to kill a powerful one. Mm-hmm.
Fabulous.
Samum would have been okay with 5.
And then I ask, what rare, strange, or adverse aspect of this design has kept it in obscurity or out of common usage?
So it's passed down through Clem's lineage, and that is not here in Udwasha.
Yep.
And is probably extinct at this point. And Tree set had a really nice bit as well. You fall a little bit in love with whatever you kill.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's the drawback of the item. You fall a little bit in love with whatever you kill, and it changes you, because to be loved is to be changed. And to love is to change. Yeah.
Love transforms.
So I think we'll frame it as this. You already have this whole like fucked up having memories that are not yours, right? So I think, yeah, you will be changed by whatever you kill with it. We will define what that means down the line, but I think that's the interesting drawback.
Lovely.
So it doesn't have any drawback unless you actually kill something with it. If you just stab something and it doesn't die, you're good. But if you actually kill something with it, then yeah.
Lovely. Okay, so make a tinker roll with rating, and then it's modified by any abilities I have. So we've got the workshop, and we've got children rooted in iron here.
Mhm.
So let's see, wondering if I push myself here to. No, I'm going to keep it as standard. Okay, so that's a 6, which is tier +1, which is 3, +2, so that is tier 5, and then I'm going to spend my stash to put that up to quality 6.
Lovely.
There we go.
There we go. So you have made a spear. So,
Indeed.
armed with the... Oh, wait. You have a spear that can kill a demon, and you have scouted out... Okay, yeah. Good. They say Clem has a plan, I see. Well, lovely. Are we
Mhm.
ready for the engagement roll, or are there any further questions?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, we're gonna do what we usually do with engagement rolls, which is
Roll it
engagement roll,
and go
then
away.
yeah, and then have a bit of a break. So, is this operation particularly bold or daring? Hell yeah.
Yes.
I hope so.
Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? Also, hell
Yes.
yeah. So back to 1 die, because that's where we start. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest?
Yes, I think. No, because we did set it up that way. That
Yeah.
what's his name?
I guess you're using
Yeah.
his vice for cool artifacts, so fair.
Yeah.
That is exploiting
Fair enough.
vulnerability. Is the target strongest against this approach? I think we're also applying that because I think the whole
Yeah.
the front door being kicked in, they're absolutely strong against.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a
I'm
yes.
And I'm sure the vault has plenty of arcane defenses and so on as well.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So that's we're still on 1 die. Can any friends or contacts provide aid or insight?
They are.
Yeah.
I think we've leaned on quite a few of them.
And we are also established that enemies or rivals are interfering because Tamira is interfering. This is where she comes up. I don't think she will appear in the score, but she's going to sabotage you as best she can. So she's applying a -1. So we're back to 1 die. Are there other elements you want to consider? Yes, the tier. So I will give you -1 die, leaving you at 0 plus whatever special abilities help you here. Please tell me if you have any that apply.
Yeah, we
Do
have
we
like
have door
door
kickers?
kickers. Yes, we do.
So that's 1.
But I was wondering, because aside from losing it to tier, the fact that the other demon houses are going to be intervening, that's separate from tier.
Yes,
So I
it
think
is.
we go back to 0.
Yeah, that's fair. So it's 0 actually.
Amazing.
Very
Thank you.
good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
As the person who's going to be in the hole when things go down, I think Sree and Venkatesh should roll the 0 dice engagement.
Did we remove a die for Tamira interfering?
Yes, we did.
But that kind of defeats the purpose of having resisted last time, doesn't it? If we
No,
are
what,
also-
what that resistance was, you resisted her getting actively involved, but we did say you stepped it down to her passively meddling. So what I'm basically saying is
okay.
you're only going to lose a die. She's not going to actually do anything else.
Okay.
She like tattle a bit, leak some information, fuck things up. But I think Tamira's involvement will be limited to only screwing with your engagement roll and nothing else.
Makes sense.
Yep.
That'll learn her.
Yep.
And anyway, I got plenty of other rivals involved, like the Hive.
Well, as you say, if you walk with Jesus, he's gonna save your soul, but you got to keep the devil way down in the hole, and that
Yeah,
is
that's you.
where
That's you. You're in the hole.
Sree lives.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm gonna roll 0 dice for engagement. And I understand that 2 6s and 2 1s are equally likely, and yet somehow I feel 2 1s rather than 2 6s coming up.
Let's see.
You got this. He's got it.
6 and a 5.
5.
You know what?
That's
I'll
a five.
take risky.
Okay, so we start at a risky position, and when we start the score, we will begin with Bidrohi outside protesting, Mushfik and Clem talking with a clerk that you unexpectedly recognize, and I think we will begin probably on Sree, who is emerging from the tree, I imagine, before the bomb goes off, because I don't think you want to be
Yes.
inside it when it does. So, yeah.
Ideally, yeah, that would be bad. But also, I mean, would it hurt me? Let's not find out. I think it's fine to not find out.
Here close the doors to the house of endings. Those who dwell within are Zoheb, called Klow, Aadiyat, called Soap, Saumitri, called Tree, and Salty. I have been Prince, your host. Our city of Uduasha is based on Blades in the Dark by John Harper and Evil Hat Productions, with special thanks to Johnstone Metzger. Follow us on Twitter or support us on kofi.com/desperateattune. If you want to engage further with us, we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/desperateattune, where you will get our newsletter, extra content, and updates from Uduasha.
Next time on Desperate Attune.
An abomination against the god.
Yes.
A being that has neither beginning nor ending.
Yes.
This is not to be permitted.
Yes. And so your desperate consequence is it is your sacred duty to destroy this thing.